Chapter 1. Did I just become a woman? Nero woke up naked and felt sand in every corner of her body. The sand was extremely uncomfortable and stuck in all possible areas, causing her a lot of annoying sensations. The last thing she expected was to wake up in a different place from her pleasant and comfortable bed. Her last memory was of going to sleep after eating instant noodles and taking a shower. The uncomfortable sand made her whole body itch as she tried to brush the excessive sand off her. Nero finally sat down and noticed more awkward feelings. In addition to the odd circumstance of waking up in a different place, she didn't feel right about herself. Or could we say himself? Even her thoughts were as if a woman was talking. The only voice in his, or rather, her mind was feminine. She was in a state of pure confusion. Her mind was astonished by the sensation as her body gave completely new and strange feelings. But even more strange was that her body felt a lot more energetic. It felt very different from anything she had ever felt before. It was a feeling of power, as if she could do things that she had never dreamed of doing before. Nero stood up and tried to recognize her environment. Looking up at the sky, the moon was highly bright and the air was cold and clean, reminding her that she was still completely naked. Her body shivered a little because of the cold wind touching her exposed skin. The first look at her hands felt odd. These were no male hands, but rather a woman's. Her arms were also different and her skin was a little pale. When she touched her hair, Nero realized another thing. As she brushed away the sand with her own hands, a small strand of hair was visible, making her even more astonished to discover her hair was white. But what the hell is going on with me? As she replied to her own mind, her eyes were caught by another peculiar part of her body. The curiosity got the better of her. Do I have breasts? Nero had blown way beyond confusion. As if listening to her question, something rather suspicious appeared in front of her. At first Nero gasped due to the sudden manifestation floating in the air. It looked like some sort of soaring screen. When she tried to touch it with a finger, the manifestation wavered like the surface of water, yet Nero couldn't touch it. A hologram. Nero looked in every possible direction trying to find some kind of projection machine or device, but as soon as she tried to move away from the floating board, the screen followed her. A text message popped onto the screen, and she was able to read it. _____. First mission, survival, description. Your current body is infected with the soul-eating worm. If you do not stop it within 30 minutes, you will lose your life. Time remaining, 28/30 minutes. Tip, you are on the east side of the nudist beach. Go unnoticed to the north end and enter the Forest of Beginners in the Nan Empire and find a monster plant, mandrake. The mandrake's cry can destroy the soul-eating worm. Warning, the moment you pull the mandrake plant out of the ground, you have 4 seconds to cover your ears and keep them covered for at least 1 minute. Reward, 5 essence coin, _____. But what? Nero looked around suspiciously, but even looking carefully in every corner, she couldn't find any hidden cameras. Not far away, she saw some people walking and chatting naked, but there were no signs of cameras. This is crazy. What kind of joke is this? And Nero looked at the floating screen and went on full alert because of the previous description. If this was true, her own life was at risk. But was this really happening? Nero was sure she was actually a man in his 21st year of age. How could he even know if this body was his? Was it really his life that was at risk? I must be going crazy. Nero also felt something strange on her back. What is this? The moment she reached back, she felt something soft to the touch. It was even softer and more delicate to the touch than baby skin. Erg? The moment she took a sample of what it was, Nero felt a slight pain. It was worse than pulling a strand of hair out of her head. A feather? Nero was completely surprised to see that it was a white feather with some pink-colored details. She almost screamed out loud due to the confusion and shock she was experiencing, but, as it had been written on the transparent screen in front of her, she needed to avoid drawing attention. She couldn't put her life on the line, even though the situation might simply be only a weird dream. Before even thinking about how she would be able to identify this mandrake monster plant, the moment she looked at a plant closer, a tiny interface popped up, giving specific details about the plant: seaside plant, wax myrtle. When Nero paid closer attention, every plant had their name shown by this interface. It was identical to an MMORPG game she had played from time to time. Ugh. I hope I can wake up soon, she grunted under her breath as she escaped north from the edge of the beach. The worst part at first was the excitement she felt when she first heard her own voice. It was extremely strange how she could feel excited by it, and other than that, at the beginning there was no odd sensation in her body, even though the floating screen announced some sort of worm was wriggling around inside her. But as time passed, Nero started to feel the worm's presence in the form of flashes of pain. "I need to hurry," Nero told herself. Her sweet voice made the worries seem like nothing, it was too gentle. Indeed, it was something pleasant just to hear. "Ugh, this is too weird," she couldn't help screaming in her heart. It was all very strange for her to look, think, and talk like a woman even though she had been a man not too long ago. "I could actually get famous on the internet with a voice like this," Nero thought as she walked, looking from side to side in a state of urgency. She noticed that there was no one close. Nero began to accelerate her steps. She could see on the semi-transparent screen that she had already spent 5 minutes of her available time, now having only 25 to find the mandrake. Nero was walking and searching around in every possible way imaginable, as if her eyes were those of an eagle, letting nothing escape her vision. For a long time, she began to believe more and more in her current situation, and the pain she felt was getting stronger. "I don't know where this place is that I am. It doesn't make any sense. If only I had a map." Then a new screen suddenly appeared when she thought about a map. A holographic screen of a topographical map opened up next to the previous screen, which showed her mission and the countdown timer. Despite being surprised by this, she knew there was not much time left. Not wanting to waste precious seconds, Nero turned her attention to the map floating in front of her and started to analyze it. The map was very similar to that of a game, huge and full of different locations, Nudism Beach, East Zone, Nan Empire, Like many video games maps, when one starts out, most parts of the map were obscured. The only part revealed was where she had already explored. Nero tried to move the map with mental commands, discovering that she could zoom in and out in a very easy way with merely a thought. Zooming in, she had an enhanced view of the nude beach she was on before. Although she could see the names of the different countries and continents, the details were obscured in every part where she hadn't gone yet. However, Nero didn't have time to think about it much. Her attention was caught by the strange names of that land. None of them were names she recognized. Nero's fear was growing stronger and stronger. It had been 15 minutes and she had not yet arrived at the so-called beginner's forest, where the screen indicated for her to go. Time passed as she walked and finally the forest was near. As indicated on the map, Beginner's Forest, Nan Empire, time remaining, 6/30 minutes, Damn it. How am I going to find this mandrake monster plant in this forest with the little time that I have left? Nero cried out frustratedly in the dark, gloomy forest, with only scattered patches of moonlight illuminating the place. She wasn't happy about it. There were only 6 minutes left as indicated by the floating screen. The pain she was feeling was intensifying. She could only clench her teeth and continue to search for the mandrake monster. Fortunately, she could still see the names of everything she laid her eyes on. "These things that bounce around, are those?" Nero murmured, sighing heavily. As she looked around looking for a mandrake, a tiny pink, round thing came towards her, jumping like an energetic rabbit. Name, Pink Slime, Level 1, Monster Rank F, I'm really confused. This thing clearly came straight out of a game and is now coming towards me. Even thinking about it, she still couldn't deny the pain she was feeling, which made her want to believe that even if this were just a dream, she could be in for a world of pain. But this was just Nero trying to convince herself of the reality before her eyes. It was almost like she was no longer on planet Earth and somehow managed to transmigrate to another planet. In a female body, with wings on her back, Chapter 2 Mission complete. Since the pink slime that was approaching in her direction was too slow, Nero decided to ignore it for a bit while she searched the mandrake plant, Monster Plant, Mandrake, Rank F, Level 1, Finally, Nero saw a set of rosette basil leaves, measuring 45 centimeters, on her way. Before she could find a mandrake, she had to kill some different colors of slime of various levels. Although her curiosity over how they existed only increased when she saw them, her time was getting shorter and shorter. Now, she finally has found mandrake plant. Approaching, Nero saw that she only had 2 minutes remaining before the mission window said she would die. She already was beginning to feel weak and had to act quickly. Putting both hands on the mandrake leaves, Nero pulled very strongly. She pulled so much that she fell back with her ass in the grass. Then, she threw the mandrake on the floor as soon as she saw the horrendous creature had started opening its mouth, ready to scream. She plugged her ears with her index fingers. Even still, Nero heard a shrill and awful scream. Although not too high, this scream was extremely annoying. Nero groaned as she felt intense pain throughout her being. The pain endured for 1 minute until it finally alleviated. When finished, she was feeling better than before, which was quite a relief for her. Mission completed. 5 essence coins have been added to your inventory. Inventory. A window appeared, dominated by an empty grid of icon slots. There were 6 spaces below 10 others. Adding it all up, she had 60 slots, with icons. There also was something like a coin counter at the bottom. Despite all this, she hadn't had time to analyze this calmly, because the mandrake was still letting loose its annoyingly loud scream. Nero was ready to get out of this place. She wanted to stop the mandrake's scream and was surprised when it stopped screaming on its own and was finally quiet. Taking this chance, she located a sharp rock near her and grabbed the stone with her left hand, which seemed too delicate for the task she was about to undergo. She started to attack the mandrake without stopping until a new window finally appeared. You defeated the plant monster, mandrake, rank F, level 1, Nero made sure the mandrake creature was dead and thought to put the corpse in her inventory to test how it worked. She also thought this mandrake might have some use. Dropping the stone from her hand, she again crouched and after placing her hand against the mandrake, a screen popped up in front of her. Do you want to loot the monster plant, mandrake, rank F, level 1, Yes. The body of the dead creature turned into a green mist and went toward Nero's body without a prior warning. She saw the mandrake monster's body disappear as if it had never existed to begin with. Nero then went up to a large boulder nearby and sat down on it, reading the new holographic screen that appeared. Core of monster rank F level 1. Has been added to your inventory. Thin plant stem rank F low quality has been added to your inventory. 15 essence coin has been added to your inventory. Still with the inventory page open, Nero raised her hand to the core of the monster. What appeared in her hand was a small dark green gem with the shape of a tear. Item monster core rank F level 1 use common item used in raising the level of rank F individuals. Also used in creation of rank F magic items. You are now rank F, current level 0%. Requires 10 monster core rank F to reach in level 1. Absorb the monster core. Yes/no. Oh, this is more and more like a game. Although she had this thought, Nero still clicked on yes, the monster core shown in neon green before it was absorbed by her hand. You increased 1 point of energy. You increased 1 point of strength. Despite already expecting something like that to happen, she was a little surprised. She thought, since I have all of this, can I also see my status? Nero Diaz, race, hybrid, current class, none, rank F level 0, 10%, 1/10 monster core rank F. Attributes, energy, mana 1, strength, hybrid 3, Oh, it worked. Nero looked through the screen that showed up. She was surprised the moment when she noticed her race was listed as hybrid, but hybrid of what? Nero asked herself that question, but received no answer. But remembering that she had wings on her back, she thought that she was possibly a hybrid of some bird or even an angel. Although she was thinking hard about this, she still didn't have an answer. Because of this, she decided not to think a lot about it anymore for the moment. She had major problems to figure out, like for example, where could she find clothes? She looked around where she was standing for something to cover herself up. Unfortunately, she didn't see anything better than some big leaves, so she had to use these leaves in the end. Since this thing is like a game system, it would be only fair if it were to have a shop system too, would it not? Despite having this thought and doing various tests, trying to discover new functions, to her misfortune, her attempts gave no results. Nero spotted another large rock, which on fact turned out to be the same one she had sat on before, having gone in circles, and sat down while analyzing all that had happened, believing that she had quite possibly gone crazy. She thought that she had been in a coma and all this was the fruit of her imagination. If this is a dream. It is a very realistic one. Even pain exists here, Nero sighed while thinking, looking through the holographic screens. She murmured, there are so many screens open. Can I close some of these? At the moment she was thinking about this, the holographic screens started to close, like they never existed. Interesting. She murmured and started to try to open one again. In reality, the whole thing was very convenient. She only needed to think open or close and the screens would appear or disappear. At the moment, as Nero looked forward, she noticed a pink ball coming towards her with big, black round eyes, plant monster, pink slime, rank F, level 2. Nero acted quickly, moving away while thinking, can I kill this thing by throwing stones? She didn't know how resistant this slime monster was but thought that she could try to kill the monster that way. Gathering up some sharp stones, she put them on her lap. She started to wish she had pants with a lot of pockets, with this and would have her life made a little easier, being able to effectively carry the stones. But then, couldn't I put these stones in my inventory? She thought to herself as the pink slime came closer. Nero wanted to put her theory into practice, opening her inventory, while staying away from the pink slime. She tried to put 2 stones in her inventory. It worked, she shouted in her mind. Seeing that it had worked, she began to quickly put all of the stones in her inventory. With her inventory full of stones, she started to throw some towards the pink slime. Damn it! My aim is shit. Nero shouted frustratedly in her mind when she missed. Despite only some stones hitting the pink slime, Nero noticed that pink slime was receiving damage and getting weaker. You defeated the plant monster, pink slime, rank F, level 2, Ufa. Finally managed to defeat it, Nero thought when approaching the pink slime, would you like to loot the monster plant, pink slime, rank F, yes, just like the Mandrix's body. The body of the pink slime turned into a green mist and entered Nero's body. Monster core, rank F, level 2, has been added to your inventory. Sticky mucus, rank F, low quality, has been added to your inventory. 20 essence coins had been added to inventory. Sticky mucus? Nero was feeling disgusted after reading the name. When opening her inventory, she noticed that this sticky mucus was in a slot and wasn't like she had imagined because it wasn't in a bottle or something like that, but rather was a kind of disgusting green goop. Not wanting to touch that thing, she went straight for the monster core. Absorb the monster core, yes/no? Yes. You raised 2 points of energy, you raised 1 point of strength. Nero was surprised when she saw that her energy had risen after she absorbed the core, but her surprise didn't stay for long, because she could say that this happened because the monster was level 2, truly mystical, Nero thought. I can feel my strength growing together with my attributes. Nero could feel the cold wind in her private parts and still couldn't figure out a way to get some clothes. Nero was lucky that although it was night, it was a bright one with the light reflected from the 2 moons above. New mission, it's an ideal night to reach level 1, objective, absorb monster cores. 0/8, reward, pants and top of simple leather, reward, underwear, reward, 20 essence coins, warning, you have until dawn to complete the mission, 0/5 hours, oh, another mission. And clothes. Nero saw this and quickly became happy. She didn't enjoy the feeling of being essentially naked in the forest. Chapter 3 New Discovery, good, it's going to be easy probably, since these slimes are very slow. Closing the mission page, Nero started to walk. On her way, she took a lot of stones and put each in her inventory. Despite being curious about the mana energy, she wasn't able to use it. Therefore, Nero decided to stop thinking about it for a while. Soon she found a level 1 pink slime, armed with sharp stones. She threw one at the pink slime. Whoosh, you defeated the monster plant, pink slime, rank F, level 1. After throwing 7 stones and hitting with 4, she succeeded in defeating the pink slime. Nero walked up to the pink slime to loot it. 1. Monster core, rank F, level 1, has been added to your inventory. 1. Sticky mucus, rank F, low quality, has been added to your inventory. 10. Essence coins have been added to your inventory. When she received the core, a new screen opened. Absorb the monster core, yes/no, yes, you increased 1 energy point, you increased 1 strength point. Nero took a deep breath and kept walking, looking for new monsters. Objective. Absorb monster cores 1/8, Nero mused while she saw the new holographic page that appeared in front of her. It's getting easy to kill these monsters. She advanced through the forest swiftly, placing stones in her inventory that she saw on her way. Because of that, she got used to throwing stones at these slimes and killed them easily. Objective, absorb monster cores 2/8. Objective, absorb monster cores 3/8. Objective, absorb monster cores April 8. Objective, absorb monster cores May 8. Objective, absorb monster cores June 8. Objective, absorb monster cores July 8. Warning, you have until dawn to complete the mission, 1/5 hours remaining, ____. I only have 1 hour left, Nero whispered while walking. Despite starting to get hangry, she can stay firm, since her strength increased because of her attributes increasing. I was nervous at first, but it wasn't hard to hunt these slimes. Nero thought when she was walking around the forest, looking for more monsters, a little anxiety passed over her pretty and cute face. She couldn't wait to increase her level and then put on some clothes. Nero was feeling some cold winds on parts that made her feel embarrassed. She would be hiding in the treetops to avoid the embarrassment if anyone had been around. Monster plant, green slime, rank F, level 3, this seems to be difficult. Nero bit her lower lips while pondering if she should try or not to kill this green slime. Mana. I think I feel it now. If I could use it when throwing the stones, this was something that she was thinking, but how she could kill without using mana, she didn't waste her time trying to figure it out before. However, now it was different. If she wanted to increase her chances to successfully kill the green slime, she would need to do more than simply throw stones. In her opinion, if necessary, she could run away. So, thinking along these lines, Nero decided to confront the green slime. If it didn't end up working, she still had almost an hour to find another slime. Taking a deep breath, she drew 2 stones from her inventory and left the inventory open to make it easier to take out more stones. Closing her eyes, Nero tried to lead the energy from her body's center to her left hand. She didn't know this was the way to use mana or not, but it never hurts to try. Clack, Nero opened her eyes and saw a semi-transparent aura in her left hand and noticed that the stone had crumbled into fragments. Did I use too much mana? Nero didn't let herself get discouraged. The opposite happened, she got more excited when saw that she could use mana, or seen something like it. I just need to get my control to be better. Picking another stone from her inventory, Nero focused and directed her mana to get left hand, but in a smaller amount. Prack. This time, the stone didn't end up crushed in fragments but broke into 2 parts. It was too much yet. Letting the 2 pieces fall on the ground, she pulled another stone from her inventory. One thing that she realized that day was that the slimes rarely started an attack, like at that moment when she was next to the green slime practicing. It hadn't attacked her yet. This was a good thing, since she was trying a new thing. When attempting to use her mana a 5th time, she finally achieved results. Her hand that held the stone now shined with a translucent blue aura. The same occurred with the stone on a smaller scale. Whoosh! Pow! When Nero threw the stone, she could see the trail left behind by it, but she hadn't hit her target. The green slime felt threatened and quickly jumped toward Nero. Without giving up, Nero picked another stone in her right hand and replicated her actions and threw the stone one more time. Whoosh! Pow! Alert! Your action unlocked a new skill. 2. Only the first grid had something written. Nero clicked on the first slot and a new message appeared. Confirm the target. Green slime, tree, stone. Beyond the green slime, the trees and large rocks were the targets. Nero didn't lose any time thinking and clicked on green slime. Nero felt something strange and saw herself sliding her right foot to the front and leaning her body a little to the back, pulling back her left arm as her mana went into her left hand and the stone, flowing around them. Whoosh! Pow! Critical damage, you defeat the monster plant, green slime, rank F, level 3. Wow, Nero was amazed by this. By the way, it was the first time that a critical message appeared for her. She didn't know anything before about this being possible. Chapter 4. Increasing to level 1. Just as someone becomes tired after using a lot of strength, these attacks with mana made Nero feel tired. She was already breathing irregularly, aspirating slowly, breathing in long breaths to calm her accelerated heart down. Nero managed to return her heartbeat to a more normal pace. The green slime that she had killed turned into a green and melted jelly. It was a little disgusting for her to put a hand to it. Everything is so I can increase my level. Nero motivated herself and went to the green slime and put her hand on the disgusting goop. Would you like to loot the monster plant, green slime, rank F, level 3? Yes, Nero said enthusiastically. The green slime turned into a green mist when she put her hand on it, and Nero absorbed the haze with her hand. Monster Core Rank F Level 3 has been added to your inventory. Green Eve Rank F Low Quality has been added to your inventory. 40 Essence Coin have been added to your inventory. Opening her inventory, Nero selected the Monster Core. Absorb the Monster Core, yes or no? Yes. You increased 4 energy points, you increased 2 strength points, ____. Then, after the holographic screen showing her attribute increases appeared, a new holographic window opened, _____. Mission complete, 1 simple leather pants, shirt, and underwear have all been added to your inventory. 20 Essences Coins has been added to your inventory. Yep, now I can wear clothes. Nero shouted in her mind, very joyful from her new wardrobe. Soon she was surprised with a new holographic window that opened. Nero closed all of her other holographic windows, just leaving the new one open. Congratulations! You increased to level 1, classes available to choose from: Novice Wizard, Novice Warrior, Novice Archer, Uneven, Hybrid, Great Havens. I can even choose a class like a game. Breathing deeply some more, she became calmer. Even if she was surprised about it, Nero have her best effort to try analyzing the situation. Now I need to choose a class. Nero analyzed, a Novice Warrior should increase my defense, and I also could use weapons like swords, spears, etc. Right? Novice Archer, I could gain better vision, aim, and critical chance. A Novice Wizard should allow me to use the elements to attack, like fire, water, earth. Nero gave her analysis on each class in turn. Even if the classes weren't exactly what she thought, her analysis wasn't too far from it. But the other 2 options with question marks, they were a mystery to her: uneven and hybrid? What kind of uneven or hybrid are they? Why haven't more pieces of information besides that shown up? Nero felt frustrated because of how little she had to go on with these choices. Despite that, something in her mind was saying to choose the Novice Archer or Novice Wizard that sounded safer. Even so, these other 2 options intrigued her. She also briefly considered choosing Novice Warrior, Hybrid. This option is because my race is hybrid for sure, but what kind of power could I gain if I choose it? Neil read upset that she didn't have more information. Even when she opened her status and clicked on hybrid, it didn't work. It was everything or nothing. She had to choose and pray to that she'd pick the best choice. It was her life at risk after all, and the better the class she chose, the better her chances to survive would be. Before I make the decision, I want to wear some clothes first. After that, I'll be able to think more calmly. Nero shivered because of the cold and decided that clothes came first. Afterward, she could think with clarity. Nero opened her inventory and saw underwear in one slot and the clothes in another. Pulling the leaves off of her body after noticing that nobody was around, Nero took the underwear made of with linen, and a message appeared. White underwear, made from a queen spider's web, 1 strength point. Although I don't know how to feel about this, I think I should be happy as this will make me strong. Wearing the underwear, Nero took out a white bra made of the same white linen. White bra, made from a queen spider's web, 1 energy point. Even though she didn't know how the attributes were determined for the item, she wore the bra anyway. I'm feeling better now. Although she still felt the cold wind on her white and delicate skin, it was thousands of times better than the leaves. Nero had to admit that these feminine clothes were nice to wear. Black leather pants, made of leather from a bull, 2 strength points and 1 energy point. I expected that it would be something like this. Taking the black leather pants, she wore them as well. Although she was very slim, she had long legs and thick thighs and a big booty. Because of this, the pants were tight on her thighs and booty. She felt a desire to look at her booty and thighs that were very attractive. Shaking her head, Nero felt embarrassed from her thought. She left the thought aside and took the leather blouse, black leather blouse, made of leather from a bull, 1 strength point and 2 energy points. With the shirt in her hand, she saw it had long sleeves and a round collar not showing much skin, even with wings. Nero managed to wear it, as if the shirt was adjusted for her wings. Nero thought that she was like a panther with those black clothes, or a biker. The strangest thing for her right now, however, was that she had to learn forward if she wanted to see her own feet due to her above-average bust getting in the way. Nero clicked her tongue. TSK. This shirt is very tight. Damn it, look at these curves. Am I too attractive? Fuck, why am I getting horny because of myself? Nero was thinking about herself again, and not wanting to continue this line of thought a second time, she shook her head. Getting rid of these impure thoughts, she looked one more time at the holographic window. Classes available to choose from: Novice Wizard, Novice Warrior, Novice Archer, Uneven, Hybrid. After having pondered for a long time, Nero decided, I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to choose uneven. Are you sure you want to choose the class, uneven, yes or no? Nero clicked on, yes. You have increased 5 energy points, you have increased 5 strength points. It didn't even take a second for a new holographic screen to appear. Subclasses, Enchantress, blocked. Requirements yet to be met to be able to unlock to class, Enchantress. A subclass? Having gained 5 points in strength and energy had already surprised her, and now a subclass was even more surprising. This was clearly beyond her expectations. It also made her believe that she made the right choice in choosing the uneven class. Closing the holographic pages, she opened the character page. Nero Diaz, breed, hybrid, class, uneven, level 1, subclass, Enchantress, blocked, 227/100 essence coin, rank F, level 1, 0%, 0/20 monster core, rank F, level 2, attributes, energy, mana 21/4, strength, hybrid 18/4. Nero now had more than 100 essence coins. She clicked on Enchantress. Do you want to consume 100 essence coins and unlock the subclass, Enchantress, yes or no? Nero clicked on yes. You have increased 15 energy points, you have increased 5 strength points, subclass, Enchantress, level 1, unlocked, skill, Tame Monster, level 1 is available. Nero closed her eyes and felt her energy growing. She could also feel something new in her body being created. Even though she had never used the Enchantress class, she could feel that now she was one. It was strange to her that it didn't seem strange. Opening her eyes, she looked at the holographic page that had just opened. She then clicked on Taming Monster. Taming Monster, the lower the animal's overall health, the greater the chance of success. Nero was surprised at first and then jumped for joy. To be able to capture monsters and make them fight for her, was there a better and safer way to fight? No, there is not. A charming and moving smile formed on her lips, and she soon went to get her first monster to be captured. There are only slimes in this place. Nero reflected after walking a bit. This green slime seems to be the best choice. Just when she thought about taming a green slime, one came jumping from behind a tree. Nero's lips curved in a smile, and she took a stone with the intention of weakening that green slime. Queen's Throw, Taming Monster. With the skills page open, she clicked on Queen's Throw. When asked to select the target, she chose green slime. Nero's body moved by itself and she hurled the stone that was surrounded by a blue aura. Whoosh. Pub Future ads, pow. Green slime was sent back and was weak on the ground, almost lifeless. Nero didn't even give level 3 green slime a chance to get up and approached and clicked on the Tame Monster ability. From her right hand, a green light looking like poisonous smoke left and went towards the green slime. Nero believed it would be better if she aimed it at green slime with her hand, and that is just what she did. Successful capture of green slime level 3. Green slime is available to be summoned. A new holographic window opened with a page with 10 grids, one of which was green slime level 2. It was reduced to level 2. This, however, did not discourage her. Perhaps there was a way to increase the level of her slime, and seeing that there were 9 more slots available, she thought about taming even more monsters. However, it would not be good to tame only slime. Nero thought about finding other stronger monsters later. The idea of going to find a city or village crossed her mind, but soon she rejected that idea. It didn't seem to be the same world that she had once lived in, and Nero didn't know if this world was peaceful or not. If she was unlucky, she would be captured and enslaved by someone. I need to stay strong. Only being very strong would she feel safe, and looking at her wings, she thought that if she flew it would also help if she needed to escape. Yawning, she felt tired. It was no mistake, Nero had spent the night hunting slime. Only, the thought of sleeping in a monster-filled forest was dangerous. However, she remembered that she could now tame monsters. If I domesticate at least one more monster and put it on watch, I could sleep more peacefully. Looking at the green slime slot, she clicked on the screen. Summon, green slime level 2, she clicked, yes. In front of her, a green slime appeared. Green slime looked at her with its big, round eyes. When she summoned green slime, Nero felt that 1/4 of her mana was consumed. Another holographic page opened and Nero saw the writing, green slime, attack, spit acid. Since she never had yet been attacked, she didn't know that green slime had this attack, so she was a little surprised. When she walked, green slime came after her jumping. The most incredible thing was that as she was browsing through what all she could do, the option appeared for her to use her own skills or green slime's skills. If she clicked on a tree as a target, she could make green slime spit acid on the tree. Wanting to test the level of damage caused by green slime, she chose a close-by tree and made green slime attack it. green slime jumped until it reached the front of the tree and spat out a slimy green liquid. It wasn't far, therefore it was easy for green slime to get it right. The moment the viscous green liquid caught the wood of the tree, a strong smell of something rotten came and Nero saw the spot that the acid spit hit being melted. Although the effect is slow, it is more potent than I expected, Nero thought with satisfaction. With her coordinating things, she was sure that this attack would be even more dangerous, since slime was slow in nature and rarely attempted to attack, which made it easy to defeat slime. Chapter 6. Everything would be much easier if she knew more about this world. Nero understood that, and she knew that she needed to stay strong and get information. Another thing is my wings. Nero was able to flap her wings, but she still didn't know how to fly. Since she had time, she tried to move her wings. With her eyes closed, Nero concentrated all her attention on her wings. It was like trying to ride a bike. Although she managed to flap her wings, making gusts with her wings, Nero was afraid of falling. I'll go for insurance. Nero hovered close to the ground while flapping her wings loudly. Pow! Nero lost her balance and hit a tree head-on, falling to the ground. She touched her nose and saw blood. Erg! That hurt. Nero pouted as she got up. Howl! Nero heard a wolf howl. It seemed far away, but that was enough to make her scared. She shivered slightly and became alert, looking this way and that. For going more than 1,000 meters away from your summoned monster, green slime returned to the summoning room. Kia! Nero gave a sudden cry, surprised to see a new page open in front of it. What a scare! She murmured. Placing her hand on her chest, she tried to calm down. Managing to stay calm, she shook her head, and dusted off her clothes, and shook the dust off her wings. I need more practice. She didn't try to fly again. Nero already lost her summoning monster and saw that it would take 1 minute to be able to call again. That's when she thought, I remember now that I got some items after killing those monsters. Nero opened her inventory. In her inventory, she saw the following things: 1 rank F, thin stem, low quality. 8 rank F, sticky mucus, low quality. 4, green grass, rank F, low quality. Also 127 essence coins, Ron. That reminds me, I haven't eaten anything since this all happened to me, Nero thought as she heard her stomach growl and hurt a little. She then thought about using the system to look at the names of plants and fruits in search of something to eat. First of all, I want to see what these things in the inventory are for, Nero muttered as she moved her hand towards the green grass. Taking one of the items in her left hand, she saw the information about it. Item: green herb, rank F, low quality, medicinal herb used for poison usage, has the ability to detoxify / rank F medicinal properties. This will be useful in case I get poisoned. Well, let me see what the other two are like. Nero took her hand to the other slot where thin stem was. Taking it with her free hand, she saw the information about it. Ads by Pub Future. Item: thin stem, rank F, low quality, a thin plant stem, usage, medicinal properties, rank F. It's something to make medicine. Nero was unaware of this world, so she didn't think about it much. After putting the stem back in the inventory, hesitantly, she summoned some of that disgusting sticky mucus to her hand. Item: sticky mucus, rank F, low quality, mysterious sticky liquid, usage, medicinal properties, rank F. It's another item to make medicine, but what medicine is made with this disgusting thing? Nero shook her head and put it back in her inventory. After looking at all the items' information, Nero tried to summon an essence coin. It was easier than she imagined. The moment her hand came up, as if it knew her intention, a screen on the side said to choose the amount she wanted to take. Apparently, she could take a coin with a value of 1, 5, 10, 25, 50, or 100. Taking only 1 essence coin. She examined its information. Item: 1 essence coin, natural energy essence mineral, use, currency used on planet Lumina / used to increase hunters' powers. Hunters? Would that be something like adventurers? The thought of using the essence coin to increase her power went through Nero's head. Nero could feel a small vibration in the essence coin she was holding. She then closed her eyes and concentrated, trying to absorb the coin's energy. Would you like to absorb the energy essence of the coin? 1 essence, hee. It worked! Nero was super happy to have guessed right. She went and clicked on, yes. You have increased 0.2 energy points. It seems the increase in attributes is small when using this coin. However, Nero reflected and saw that it was not as little as she initially thought, since she got this essence coins very easily through her mission in killing monsters. Once again, Nero opened her inventory. This time, she took out another coin, 5 essence. This coin, besides looking brighter, also had the number 5 of this world printed in the center of it. Now, how do I know it's 5? Nero was surprised to learn that information, especially because she had no knowledge of this world. Is this something like people who have lost their memories but can still remember the names of things and even speak? Nero became confused again. It was strange to know something that she didn't even know she knew. She thought about it for a few long minutes, but was unable to reach any conclusions. The most sensible thing that she managed to guess was it might be because the ex-owner of the body knew these things, and it turned out that she somehow knows them now as well. With the coin in her palm, Nero closed her eyes and began to absorb the energy contained in the coin. Would you like to absorb the energy essence of the coin? 5 essence. Nero opened her eyes briefly and clicked, yes. You have increased 0.7 energy points. You have increased 0.3 strength points. Now knowing about the existence of other essence coin values, Nero opened her inventory and took out a coin with the value of 10 essence. She was already more accustomed after doing this twice. This time she didn't even have to close her eyes to absorb the energy of the coin. Would you like to absorb the energy essence of the coin? 10 essence. Without thinking twice, she clicked, yes. You have increased 1.5 energy points. You have increased 0.5 strength points. This feeling of increased strength and energy is incredible. And the more points you increase, the better it looks. One thing she also thought was that unfortunately it only increased her strength and energy, but when thinking about being more powerful at level 1, she somehow found this idea incredible, because she liked the feeling of increased strength and energy. Nero wanted to try using an essence coin worth 100. Would you like to absorb the energy essence of the coin? 100 essence? Yes. She clicked, you have increased 11.6 energy points. You have increased 8.4 strength points. Energy, mana, has reached the maximum allowed level, air. So there is an attribute limit per level. Nero was a little disappointed, but soon she got over it and thought about continuing to use essence coins to increase her strength. Chapter 7, there were only 11 essence coin left. Nero took 2 coins, one of 10 essence and the other of 1 essence, and started to absorb. Would you like to absorb the energy essence of the coin? 11 essence? Yes, she clicked. You have increased 2.2 strength points. Let me see. Nero opened the character's holographic page and saw that it had 54 energy, mana, and 34.34 strength, hybrid. Ron. Before she could continue to do anything, Nero remembered that she was still hungry and needed to find something to eat. Although there were many things she did not understand, Nero still managed to find some edible fruits. One of those fruits turned out to be blackberry. After eating until satisfied, she started walking through the forest again, and that was when she remembered that she could resummon green slime. So she did just that, summoning monster, invocation of green slime successful. One thing that Nero had not noticed before was that a summoning circle appeared on the ground just before green slime was summoned. Nero was intrigued by this, causing her to raise her eyebrows. While walking with green slime jumping right behind her, Nero saw a level 2 pink slime. Wanting to test how well green slime would fight pink slime, Nero gave the command for green slime to attack. Jumping like the ball that green slime was, Nero was surprised that when it got close to pink slime, pink slime became aggressive before it was even attacked. Pink slime immediately jumped towards green slime with the intention of striking green slime with its body. Nero commanded the green slime to do the same, and as the 2 balls collided with each other, one pink and one green, the 2 slimes were repelled backward. Nero, not wanting to take a chance, commanded green slime to use spit acid. Pink slime tried to roll to escape but ended up being too slow. Bang. Pink slime contorted in pain and soon after stopped moving. You defeated the monster plant, pink slime, rank F, level 2. Initially, Nero thought about using plunder, but she was afraid to use it because of the acid. This was also when she had a peculiar thought: would green slime be able to strengthen itself by eating pink slime's body? Nero rested her hand on her chin as she thought about this. It doesn't cost to test. Nero thought and gave the command of green slime to approach and eat pink slime. Green slime had no will of its own, so it did exactly what Nero commanded, jumping up to the melted body of pink slime until it reached pink slime. And that was when Nero was amazed. She saw green slime suck in pink slime like a dry cloth sucks up water. Your green slime monster is now at level 3, so this is how monsters level up, or is it just slimes that do that? Nero had this doubt. Since there weren't many other monsters besides slimes, she could only satiate her curiosity at another time. She started walking in search of other prey and noticed that the sky was getting clearer. Nero also noticed that green slime was now jumping faster compared to before. If the night was cold and the wind was cold, she would feel warmer with the rising of the sun. Nero felt a little tired too. She wanted to sleep, but the fear that something would happen while sleeping prevented her from doing that. Nero, you can do it. She perked herself up by raising her left arm to the sky with her fist. Spotting another pink slime, Nero commanded the green slime to attack. She also wanted to see if the fighting experience raised the level of her domesticated monsters. Besides that, she also needed to level up, therefore she had no intention of letting green slime absorb the next target. Pow! Green slime was faster than pink slime and jumped with the intention of attacking. Once green slime's body fell on pink slime, it caused pink slime to be dragged to the ground and bounce backwards like a ball. Nero came over and kicked the slime with half her strength. Bang! You defeated the monster plant, pink slime, rank F, level 2, thud. Pink slime's body fell to the forest floor looking like a crushed pudding. Although a little disgusted, Nero approached the corpse. Plunder. Nero murmured as soon as she put her hand on pink slime, would you like to plunder the monster plant, pink slime, rank F, level 2? Nero clicked, yes. Pink slime became a mist and was absorbed by her hand. Rank F monster core level 2 has been added to your inventory. Sticky mucus low quality has been added to your inventory. 20 essence coin have been added to your inventory. Ugh. Why does that sticky mucus drop so often? Nero frowned with unrestrained disgust. Oranges. Nero exclaimed happily when she noticed an orange tree not far away. Nero was surprised when a holographic screen opened in front of her. New mission, Tamer, tame a monster level 4, objective, tame a monster level 40/1, reward, 50 essence coin, reward, orange 1 5 energy, although surprised to see that a new mission appeared. She thought, I would be even happier if it were something to wear on my feet. It wasn't like she could change the reward she gets for completing missions, and it wasn't bad. But first, she wanted to get the oranges. In front of her were 3 orange trees. Each of these trees was filled with oranges, but the problem is that if she wants to acquire the oranges, she would have to jump very high or climb the tree since each tree is about 500 centimeters tall, of course. This was only until Nero remembered that she could fly. Although I still need practice, picking some oranges shouldn't be a problem, right? Nero looked like a drunk flying. She zigzagged while trying to fly in a straight line. After many trials and errors, she managed to get the first orange. 30 minutes later, Nero gasped on the floor while feeling tired. She was sure that if she had more practice she wouldn't get as tired as she did now, but at least now she had more control when flying. In the inventory in the slot with the orange icon, there was a number indicating she had 98 oranges. But before Nero could enjoy one of her oranges, she heard footsteps. It is not a wolf, right? Chapter 8, Nero stood up and went into high alert. 2 men who looked like mercenaries appeared. They looked at Nero as if they were analyzing her. At first they showed no expression of lust, but seeing that she was alone and didn't appear to be strong, the 2 began to laugh loudly. Ah ha ha! The sinister, unpleasant laugh of these 2 mercenaries echoed throughout the forest. Nero was already on alert and made green slime hide behind a tree as she picked up a rock from the ground. Her action of picking up a stone from the floor did not threaten the 2 mercenaries. On the contrary, it made them laugh even louder and licked their disgusting lips lewdly. Hello, little lamb. What do you think about playing with us? One of the mercenaries said in a wicked whisper. He stared at Nero, smacking his lips in an exaggerated fashion. Seeing them doing this, Nero was so disgusted that she felt like throwing up. Human, thief, rank F, level 5, human, thief, rank F, level 4. Nero did not answer. She could understand what they were saying but did not know what language it was. However, she was sure it was not Portuguese nor any other language she knew in her past life. After seeing the assessment of these 2 men from the system, she became even more alert. Now. She screamed in her mind and jumped back. Queen's throw, whoosh. This took the mercenaries by surprise. But the disgusting smiles on their faces did not disappear. They treated her attack as if it were child's play. Jumping aside and dodging, Nero ordered green slime to attack with acid shortly thereafter. Spit acid. The tallest thief was hit by the acid in his leg. He screamed loudly in pain and took a green viscous paste from his pocket and squeezed it, spreading it across his leg. His face had been distorted because of the pain but improved after he applied the green paste on his leg. Caution shone in his eyes, realizing they had been ambushed. But when he saw that it was just a green slime, he was instantly relieved. The exact moment that green slime attacked him had been strange, making him suspicious. However, he didn't have that much time. he saw the white-haired angel girl with pink threads throw another stone in his direction. Damn it! He swore and rolled on the floor in a shameful way. The other bald thief, who was the higher level, said, "Marco, deal with this green slime first." "I will deal with this girl, okay," he agreed immediately. "Beautiful girl, kneel down, open your mouth, and suck me. If your blowjob is satisfactory, I can consider letting you live and being my sex slave. Otherwise, I will beat you to death here and now." In reality, it was not the first time that this bald thief did this kind of thing. Playing in daylight, raping women, and destroying families was something he had done countless times. This made her even more repulsed, causing a lump to get stuck in her throat. Nero looked at him with such disgust that her murderous intention expanded without warning. She never wanted to kill a person before as much as she wanted to kill this man now. Seeing the girl's angry expression and not showing any desire to surrender, the bald thief was even happier. Ah! He burst out in a sinister laugh and looked at Nero with a predatory stare. He marked her as his prey. Initially, Nero wanted to hurt the two thieves and escape, but if she got the chance, she would now kill them. But I'm only level 1. And they're at levels 4 and 5. Can I do damage to them? That was the question she had when they managed to dodge. The thought of being captured and raped made her shiver with fear. Yes, she had a huge increase in her stats, but she didn't know how strong she truly was. She didn't understand how strong someone with 40 strength and 50 energy even was. However, these thieves made a serious mistake. Of course she was scared. However, she had wings. Flapping her wings, she flew up. She took some sharp stones from her inventory, not knowing if that was enough to hurt them deeply. But if not, she just needed to get away. Damn it! She can fly. The bald thief looked surprised to see Nero fly. He thought she couldn't. Since from the beginning she stayed on the ground while they surrounded her, Nero thanked herself for the training she had done before, picking up the oranges while flying. Now she could at least glide in the air without losing her balance very often. Queen's throw, whoosh. A stone was thrown. It was even faster and more powerful due to the gravity of being thrown from the air. The bald thief tried to dodge. He was quick, he had good reflexes. However, he underestimated the speed at which the stone was thrown. Bang! His right arm was hit and twisted back in a strange way. The sound of bone breaking came immediately after, along with a shrill scream full of pain and agony from the bald thief. Aha! Shit! You bitch! I will kill you, I swear I will kill you! He roared into the sky as fury consumed him. He was in so much pain that he thought he was going to pass out. However, his anger made him stay awake. Seeing this, Nero was not just watching, she also ordered green slime to run away while using spit acid. The bald thief wanted to pick up the ointment and put it on his broken arm, but he didn't have time. He saw the girl about to throw another stone. Now he no longer underestimated the force behind this attack. Chapter 9, My Friend. You got really weird and scary. Nero mumbled while examining the primal slime. When alone in the forest, Nero was still cautious. She didn't want to be careless and found herself off guard. Scanning for any living beings nearby, she took an orange from the inventory. She didn't have a knife and of course she wouldn't eat it with the peel. Using her nails, she started peeling the orange and to her surprise, her nails were very strong and sharp. Once it had been fully peeled, she started to eat the orange. The sweet taste spread in her mouth, she sucked on it, and savored each small bite. Very tasty. Nero was absolutely delighted with the taste of the orange. She was on an empty stomach after she had thrown up. Not satisfied with just one orange, she ate 3 more oranges. In addition to quenching her hunger, Nero also managed to quench her thirst from the oranges. Laying alongside the red thief's body was a sword, dagger, and rectangular card the size of an identity card. Taking the card in her hand, shaking it to remove the slime residue left, she saw where it was written, Hunter card, at the top, and below it had more details: photo, Marco, race, human, class, thief, rank F, level 4, attributes, energy, mana 11.4, strength, human 38.9, So this is a Hunter card, with information from the red-haired thief. In fact, my attributes are superior to him. Nero didn't know if this card would be useful, but she kept it in her inventory. She kept the sword and dagger in the inventory as well. Nero did not know whether that bold thief would return to this place or not, so she started walking, going deeper into the forest. When Nero spied a large tree with many leaves, she stopped walking. Nero climbed the tree, leaving the primal slime on the ground near the tree's base. On top of the tree, staying as hidden as possible, she briefly closed her eyes, wanting to rest at least a little. It was a long night, and she was tired from fighting those two thieves, inside a cave formed of stone with the entrance closed by iron bars. A little girl with messy black hair was huddled in a ball as tears streamed from her eyes. Whenever drops dripped and fell on the cave floor, the little girl's body shuddered. She was scared and had no one she could trust. However, things were going to go from bad to worse for her. A demon appeared in front of the cave and opened the iron grating. He pulled the little girl by the arms while saying in his sinister voice, devoid of any emotion, "Guinea pig number 0, the doctor is waiting for you." The demon was very tall and strong, standing at 220 centimeters tall. The little girl was carried off by force by this red-skinned demon who had 2 ox horns on his head. It was as easy for him to carry her as it was to carry a bag of rice. The girl struggled, but with her minuscule strength, she was unable to make the demon move a single muscle. It was to him as if a tiny gnat was biting at him. She found herself being taken from the underground cave she was in and climbing steps made of stones. It was at the end of the stone stairs that they passed through a large iron door. The girl closed her big eyes briefly when she was attacked by the sudden light beyond the doorway, but it was not the light of the sun, rather on the contrary, white lights that came from mana stones. The entire place where the little girl was now was surrounded by white, from the color that made up the flooring to the color of the corridor wall. She was forcefully carried by the demon down the hall, and along the way she saw many things to turn her stomach. If she hadn't been starved, she would have vomited right away. Inside rooms that had doors open, there were living or already dead beings inside large glass preservation canisters. Everyone was disfigured, mixed up with parts of animals. It was a horrendous scene. The demon didn't seem to care what she saw and continued to carry the little girl down the hallway. When they entered another corridor, the little girl already felt lost. Everything looked the same, but the most frightening thing was to see what they did to other people, including children. She was just a child. But that didn't mean she couldn't imagine that it was something done by someone evil, which made her cry out in fear. "Be quiet," the demon said in his sinister voice, devoid of any emotion. "If you continue to cry and irritate the new doctor, it will only make things worse for you." Nero wakes up scared, causing her to lose balance and fall off of the tree. Thud. When her body fell to the floor, her shoulder was dislocated. Nero groaned in pain. She sat on the ground and didn't know how to set the dislocated shoulder back in place. Cell regeneration passive skill enabled. Nero didn't have time to worry about the pain, as she saw a new holographic screen in front of her and felt her pain stop. Clack! The sound of her shoulder returning to the place resonated, and she opened her eyes wide in a cutesy way, surprised by what just happened. Since when did I have this passive ability? She didn't remember seeing this skill on the skills page. Just to confirm, she opened the holographic skills page. Tame monster, level 1, Queen's Throw, level 1, so that's it. I thought before because I didn't see any skills right below that I didn't have any passive skills. Nero felt ashamed for not having noticed this before. She should at least have tried to click on it and see the result. Chapter 10, My Friend. You got really weird and scary. Nero mumbled while examining the primal slime. When alone in the forest, Nero was still cautious. She didn't want to be careless and found herself off guard. Scanning for any living beings nearby, she took an orange from the inventory. She didn't have a knife, and of course she wouldn't eat it with the peel. Using her nails, she started peeling the orange, and to her surprise, her nails were very strong and sharp. Once it had been fully peeled, she started to eat the orange. The sweet taste spread in her mouth. She sucked on it and savored each small bite. Very tasty. Nero was absolutely delighted with the taste of the orange. She was on an empty stomach after she had thrown up. Not satisfied with just one orange, she ate 3 more oranges. In addition to quenching her hunger, Nero also managed to quench her thirst from the oranges. Laying alongside the red thief's body was a sword, dagger, and rectangular card the size of an identity card. Taking the card in her hand, shaking it to remove the slime residue left, she saw where it was written, Hunter card, at the top, and below it had more details: photo, Marco, race, human, class, thief, rank F, level 4, attributes, energy, mana 11.4, strength, human 38.9. So this is a Hunter card, with information from the red-haired thief. In fact, my attributes are superior to him. Nero didn't know if this card would be useful, but she kept it in her inventory. She kept the sword and dagger in the inventory as well. Nero did not know whether that bull thief would return to this place or not, so she started walking, going deeper into the forest. When Nero spied a large tree with many leaves, she stopped walking. Nero climbed the tree, leaving the primal slime on the ground near the tree's base. On top of the tree, staying as hidden as possible, she briefly closed her eyes, wanting to rest at least a little. It was a long night, and she was tired from fighting those two thieves, inside a cave formed of stone with the entrance closed by iron bars. A little girl with messy black hair was huddled in a ball as tears streamed from her eyes. Whenever drops dripped and fell on the cave floor, the little girl's body shuddered. She was scared and had no one she could trust. However, things were going to go from bad to worse for her. A demon appeared in front of the cave and opened the iron grating. He pulled the little girl by the arms while saying in his sinister voice, devoid of any emotion, "Guinea pig number 0, the doctor is waiting for you." The demon was very tall and strong, standing at 220 centimeters tall. The little girl was carried off by force by this red-skinned demon who had 2 ox horns on his head. It was as easy for him to carry her as it was to carry a bag of rice. The girl struggled, but with her minuscule strength, she was unable to make the demon move a single muscle. It was to him as if a tiny gnat was biting at him. She found herself being taken from the underground cave she was in and climbing steps made of stones. It was at the end of the stone stairs that they passed through a large iron door. The girl closed her big eyes briefly when she was attacked by the sudden light beyond the doorway, but it was not the light of the sun, rather on the contrary, white lights that came from mana stones. The entire place where the little girl was now was surrounded by white, from the color that made up the flooring to the color of the corridor wall. She was forcefully carried by the demon down the hall, and along the way she saw many things to turn her stomach. If she hadn't been starved, she would have vomited right away. Inside rooms that had doors open, there were living or already dead beings inside large glass preservation canisters. Everyone was disfigured, mixed up with parts of animals. It was a horrendous scene. The demon didn't seem to care what she saw and continued to carry the little girl down the hallway. When they entered another corridor, the little girl already felt lost. Everything looked the same, but the most frightening thing was to see what they did to other people, including children. She was just a child. But that didn't mean she couldn't imagine that it was something done by someone evil, which made her cry out in fear. "Be quiet," the demon said in his sinister voice, devoid of any emotion. "If you continue to cry and irritate the new doctor, it will only make things worse for you." Nero wakes up scared, causing her to lose balance and fall off of the tree. Thud. When her body fell to the floor, her shoulder was dislocated. Nero groaned in pain. She sat on the ground and didn't know how to set the dislocated shoulder back in place. Cell regeneration passive skill enabled. Nero didn't have time to worry about the pain, as she saw a new holographic screen in front of her and felt her pain stop. Clack! The sound of her shoulder returning to the place resonated, and she opened her eyes wide in a cutesy way, surprised by what just happened. Since when did I have this passive ability? She didn't remember seeing this skill on the skills page. Just to confirm, she opened the holographic skills page. Tame monster, level 1, Queen's Throw, level 1, so that's it. I thought before because I didn't see any skills right below that I didn't have any passive skills. Nero felt ashamed for not having noticed this before. She should at least have tried to click on it and see the result.